How to get in your best shape in 2023 and beyond. Okay, so this lesson is going to give you some practical tips that you can use to make sure that you're getting in your best shape. And this is probably some information you've never heard before. So strap in and let's get to work. The first thing that you need to do is define what it means to get in your best shape, because there's different aspects to focus on. There's mobility, strength, energy, sleep, appearance, mental health. These are like different categories that you want to make sure that you're covering when you're talking about what it means to get in your best shape. Then you want to come up with a plan and you want to have it in phases. For instance, if I was going to run a marathon, I wouldn't just start off by running 10 miles tomorrow because I wouldn't be able to walk the day after, right? You might start off by saying, okay, I'm going to get on the treadmill, maybe do a mile, okay? And then by week 2, I'm going to bump it up to 2 miles. Week 3, 3 miles. See, you want to slowly progress your way up. It's the same thing whenever you're trying to get in the best shape of your life. You want to have different phases. So you might start off by saying, you know what? I'm just going to make sure I show up at the gym 3 times a week. Okay, then from there, I'm going to work on some mobility work and do some total body the second week. And then maybe the third week, I'm going to work on a little bit more resistance training, more specific to whatever my specific goals are. But something like that, you just need to have a plan. It might not be the best plan, right? But you need to have a plan. And then you're going to follow that plan. And then you want to only change the plan whenever you hit a plateau in different areas. And I don't mean just a plateau on the scale. I mean, if you're plateauing with your strength, with your sleep, or your mood, your energy, and different things, that's when you change it. Because what happens a lot of times when people are trying to get in great shape is they try to change too many things at once. And then they end up just giving up because it's too overwhelming. They're not seeing results and they're not even tracking appropriately enough to see results. Don't be that person. And then you want to avoid this all or nothing mindset. A lot of people will be on a diet. They'll eat perfectly for 3 days. But then the 4th day, they'll get stressed out. They'll come home. They'll maybe buy a pizza. Then they'll drink a beer. And then the next day they do the same thing. And then by day 6, they just give up on the diet, say it doesn't work, and then just quit. Don't do the all or nothing mindset. It's okay to have 1 bad day, but don't have 2. Don't miss twice. That is the rule. If you're trying to be consistent, don't miss twice. Don't miss the gym twice. Don't miss your diet twice. Show up. So now let's get a little bit more specific. If you're trying to get in amazing shape or accomplish any goal, you need to ask yourself, what are your big rocks? Because essentially 20% of the things that you do are going to account for the majority of your results. All right. There's the Pareto principle that says 20% of your habits will account for 80% of your results. So you need to choose the things that are going to have the biggest impact. Okay. What a lot of people do is they focus on so many different things. Oh, what are the supplements I need to take? If you're not working out, you're not eating healthy, you don't need to worry about supplements right now, right? That is not going to have the biggest impact on your life. If you're not getting good sleep, it's not going to have the biggest impact. So think about, what are your biggest rocks? What are the biggest things you can implement that are going to have the biggest changes positively to your goals? So here are a couple common big rocks for people that are trying to get in great shape. Resistance training, 2 to 3 times a week. When you're resistance trained, you're building your muscle, you're improving your metabolism, you're improving your insulin sensitivity, you're increasing the amount of calories you burn per day, and you're improving your body composition. So that is a good big rock. You don't want to just start off by saying, oh, I'm trying to get in amazing shape and not resistance train, because you're missing so much. And then making sure you're getting good sleep. If you're not sleeping for 7 hours a day and you're chronically underslept, you're waking up and you're going to have a lot less willpower. You're going to make a lot worse decisions. You're probably going to also be more insulin resistant because of it. So getting adequate sleep is so, so crucial. And then eating 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of protein in your diet. So if there's anything that I would start off with when it comes to my diet for most people is optimize for protein. All right. If you don't want to track anything, if you don't want to meal prep anything, meal prep protein, right? Because a lot of the times when you adjust for protein, you optimize for protein, everything else kind of takes care of itself. So you start eating less calories because protein helps you feel more satiated. You're having a higher thermic effect of food. So you're burning more calories from the foods that you do consume. And you end up just eating less junk. Okay. So optimize for protein. Then you need to ask yourself, are you drinking enough water? A lot of people are underhydrated, and a lot of times we confuse hunger for hydration, for dehydration. So making sure that you're getting adequate water intake is important. 2 liters at minimum for most people. But what I like to recommend is you take whatever your weight is, divide it in half, and then you should be getting that amount in ounces minimum. All right. So I'm 200 pounds, divide that in half. That's 100 ounces minimum. And I drink more than that. And then you want to avoid ultra processed foods. Like I mentioned in a previous lecture, ultra processed foods will cause you to overeat by 500 plus calories. All right. Daily. Right. That's a pound a week. Right. That you're unnecessarily eating simply because you're eating ultra processed foods, which have less nutrients, less protein, and are much easier to overeat because they're giving you a dopamine rush. So cook your food. All right. Just doing that will dramatically improve your results. And then you want to manage your stress, because a lot of people don't manage stress well, and very few people are getting stressed out and eating broccoli and quinoa, right? What do? You buy a pizza, you eat ice cream, you're eating chips. So manage your stress. And then the last big rock for everyone is consistency, okay? You have to be consistent and persistent if you want to get to your goals. So here's the 3-step action plan. Number 1 is have a plan, all right? Is this thing on? Relying on the motivation that you have from New Year's to get in your best shape is like looking for food when you're hungry. It's not going to end well. Don't rely on motivation. Have a plan and follow the plan. You want to map it out over the course of the year, stick to it and execute, rinse and repeat. And in that plan, you want to make sure that you're building awareness of where you currently are. So that might mean tracking something, tracking your activity levels, tracking the weights you're working out within the gym, tracking the foods that you're eating, tracking the calories you're taking, tracking your protein. Track something. At least have a foundation so you have an understanding of your baseline. And then you want to start with your big rocks. Okay, so we want to start with the things that have the biggest impact. The research has shown when people get small wins at the beginning of a diet, they're much more likely to stick to it. So if you're just doing all these things, but you're not seeing results, you're probably going to fall off the wagon. So start off with the things that have the biggest impact. Don't worry about the supplements right now. Focus on the big rocks. And what are some of these big rocks? Avoiding ultra processed foods because they lead to you overeating. This is almost a guaranteed way to lose weight. Just stop eating so much ultra processed food. Then you want to focus on the protein for just one meal at a time. Start off by optimizing your breakfast. Get 30 to 40 grams of protein for your breakfast. And then you can work on to the other meals. But just start on optimizing your breakfast and saying, for one straight week, I'm going to get 30 to 40 grams of protein minimum in every breakfast that I eat. Do that for 1 week and then work on the next week. Okay. And then when things start to plateau and you're not getting the same results, then you can focus on calories. But just keep it simple. Just track one thing. Start with breakfast. Start with your first meal. And then you want to strength train with basic foundational movements. And we'll talk about those in the next couple slides. And you want to do this at least 2 to 3 days a week at minimum. And then you want to walk more. Whatever amount of steps you're getting right now, find out, look at your phone. If you look on your phone, it'll tell you. In the Apple Health app or your Google Steps app, it'll tell you how many steps you're taking. Or if you got an Apple Watch, and then just add 2,000 more steps a day. And that might mean taking an extra 20 or 30 minute walk. And then improve your sleep hygiene. Get good sleep. If you're up late at night just staring into your screen and you're wondering why you can't sleep, you're hurting yourself, right? You're shooting yourself in the foot. All right. So you want to get good sleep, and that's going to help you reduce your cravings. And we all know that a lot of y'all eating super late at night when you probably should be asleep. If you go to sleep, you're not going to, that's a lot less calories you're even consuming, because it's like right when you're probably supposed to be sleeping, like 10 minutes later, you just get cravings for stuff. And then you start getting into the fridge, and then it's like midnight and you're watching Netflix and you're like, oh, I don't know why I can't lose weight. Because you're snacking super late at night when you should be sleeping anyway. Okay. But the biggest thing is, don't try to do all these things at once. Pick 1 or 2 items that you think are the most important for you right now, and then work on those. And then once you master those, work on something else. So what are the fundamental movement patterns? So there's essentially 7 basic movement patterns. And there's the squat, the lunge, the push, the pull, the bend, the twist, and obviously walking with the gait. And the reason why we want to do these movements is because every day, whether we want to or not, we're going to be doing some sort of repetitive movement. For me to sit in the seat and get out of it, I need to be able to squat, right? So that's something I want to work on. If I'm going to the groceries, I need to be able to pull things. I need to be able to hold things. Okay, so you want to do functional fitness movements that are going to help you. If you're picking up something from the ground, you need to be able to do a deadlift, right? If you're opening up a door, if you're pushing it, you need to be able to push. You need to, if you're going to walk, you need to be able to lunge. You need to be able to do all of these movements. And that's why you want to have an exercise program that focuses on optimizing for these foundational movement patterns. So here are some exercises that you can do to hit all of these different movement patterns. Ideally, you want to train these movements in a gym. However, if your gym ain't your thing, then you can do it at home. Look at that. I got some weights right there. I got a bench over there. So like if I don't want to go to the gym, I can work out at home. So build your environment so that way you can do all of these foundational movements, use different exercises for all of these things. A lot of these things can be done with body weight. So there's no real excuse, but you want to make sure you're doing these fundamental movements if you want to be able to move by yourself as you age. And then the next thing is eat like an adult, right? Eat like an adult. It's very simple. Think about all the stuff you used to eat as a child. You got away with it because when you're a child, you got the metabolism of a Lamborghini because you're growing. You're literally getting taller. Your body's taking all those nutrients and making you grow upwards. And for some of y'all, it's making you go outwards, but it's at least making you grow upwards. You'll never have that same level of metabolism again. Once you stop growing, you cannot tolerate those calories, right? And that still was not the most optimal way to eat. You just got away with it. So stop being in denial. As you age, you're not moving as much. You're no longer growing at an accelerated rate. So stop eating like a child and eat like an adult. Try to eat more single ingredient whole foods that are minimally processed. Stick to the fruits, the veggies, the meats, and less of the stuff that comes out of a box or a bag, like these microwavable dinners and stuff. Stop that and stick to real stuff. Essentially anything that draws us nutrients from the earth and is not entirely put together by someone in a lab is going to be better for you, okay? And when you start eating like this, you start eating more like an adult, your waistline's going to thank you, your lab work's going to thank you, your doctor's going to thank you, and most importantly, you're going to thank you. And have fun. People who exercise for fun stick to it much more than people that just are doing this for medical reasons. You don't want to wake up every day and feel like, oh man, I have to work out because my doctor said so. No, you get to work out. That is a privilege. There's people missing limbs that can't move the way you move. There's people that are bedbound and stuck in a room for the rest of their life that wish they had the opportunity that you have to move. So enjoy that. Movement is a gift. Have fun with it and don't ever take that for granted. So find something you like to do, whether it's shooting hoops, playing catch with your dog, jumping rope, hula hooping like this, like this diagram, whatever it is, find your fun. Find your fun movement. And for some people, that's bodybuilding, that's calisthenics, but there's something out there for everybody. Consistency. 100 days at 70% is better than 30 days at 100%. Consistency always was and always is going to be king. This is a lifestyle. This is a marathon. It is not a sprint. You have to be consistent. When life gets busy, chaotic, or overcomplicated, please focus on the things that will keep you on your health train. Like the following: go for a daily walk to relieve stress. Go to bed earlier so you're not snacking, getting the munchies super late at night, and so that you don't have to deal with terrible cravings in the morning while you have low willpower because you're drained. Eat a salad instead of a drive-through hamburger. Get some stretching in. Move your body. Prep your foods for the week, or at least have an idea of what you're going to eat every single day. Whatever it is, find something in your life every single day that is positive for your health, okay? Because that one thing can be the anchor that helps you maintain all the other healthy habits. It's so important. And that's the difference between people that yo-yo diet and lose weight and gain the weight back versus people that have been able to maintain a healthy, active lifestyle at a healthy weight is they have many more anchors. They don't rely on motivation. They have so many anchors to their health that they built into their life that they don't have to use so much mental bandwidth to figure out how to be healthy. So hopefully you enjoyed that lesson. Go out there, take some proactive steps, dominate your fitness goals. This is your year. And if you have any questions, please drop a comment down below.